Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/zip to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/zip.
Almost 10 years ago, me and my 6 kids, we ended up homeless here. It's really sad to see what's happened, not just down here, but this whole town. You really can't go anywhere without being scared. A few years ago, some guy jumped in my car and he grabbed me. And what are you supposed to do? Tell the police it was some homeless guy? Other than drug use, I think that there's a ton of mental health issues. It's just crazy to see this place, like right behind.
You guys are actually filming these guys that are here right now?
Right now behind us, we've got some people that are pretty frustrated that we're here right now. They want royalties and money, and it's entitlement. You have the energy to get up and come harass a film crew, but you can't get off your ass and go look for a job. This is insane. I feel like if the city could get some land for, oh my gosh. It's only on my face. We keep having to move locations. You sure have a lot of energy. Do you not have a job?
It's none of your business.
She just won't leave us alone. It's like, what, the 6th, 7th time we've had to move locations? When I was homeless, you weren't allowed to do this. We would have to leave the park after dark. Now they're allowed to kind of do whatever they want. They've literally taken over it. I really hope that the government can do something, maybe get a plot of land for the urban campers where there's showers and bathrooms so we could get our parks back.
Well, Misty, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is a problem.
Yeah.
And you say many of the residents in Grants Pass just really don't feel safe anymore. And we're talking about kind of common areas where usually you would just go to really be carefree, be in the park, children would be playing, people would just be walking, enjoying themselves. And now it's kind of like an obstacle course. What are you most afraid of?
Well, I was assaulted. I guess that's like one of my biggest fears, is that happening again. I mean, I was alone when that happened, but I can't even imagine if, like, you know, one of my kids was with me. So it's a constant fear because it happens like daily. You go to Walmart, you're approached. You go to the 7-Eleven, and it's just, it's a constant thing. I'm afraid of being attacked again.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. That changes you, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
What did you say to yourself at the time? Did you fear for your life? What did you think was going to happen?
I mean, in that moment, I don't think you really think. I think it's like fight or flight. You're just like, how can I get out of this situation? And then afterwards is like when the adrenaline was just like, when I really got a chance to think, you know, I could have been killed. And I think I kind of downplayed it a little bit to my family. But in that moment, it was just like, how can I get out of this situation?
What happened in that moment? What was said to you? Were they trying to take something from you?
You know, I really don't remember exactly if he was like trying to rob me, but he did. When he got in, he grabbed me and he had a hold onto me. And I've been assaulted before, and so it's kind of like you've got this thing going through your mind, like, oh my gosh, this is happening again. And so he unzipped his pants and was doing some pretty inappropriate stuff, and he had a knife as well. So I don't know if he wanted to rape me, steal my purse, both. I don't really know what his intentions were.
So it could have gotten really dark. I mean,
absolutely, yeah. I mean, you can only imagine.
You say there's constant shooting up of drugs, overdoses, dead bodies have been found.
Mm-hmm. Out in the open. This isn't something that's hidden either. Like you can walk by the park and see them smoking meth, shooting up.
And when people are laying out just in the open, you don't know if they're asleep, unconscious, or dead. And you only have to find one or two dead ones to consider every one could potentially be, even if it's rare.
Yeah.
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 And really, you guys have found feces on the sidewalk, buckets that they've used as bathrooms. It just isn't what you think of when you think of a beautiful spring day.
Yeah.
That's not what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Now, you say your attitude towards the homeless has changed from need help to do they really want help? Why? What changed your attitude?
Well, I was homeless about 10 years ago, and so I had a much different perspective, and it was like, they need help. But after things have gotten so bad, they decriminalized drugs. And when we lost the first court case, that kind of changed things to where, I've given people rides. I've been down there helping, making blessing bags and helping out. And you just hear people say like, oh, I came from California because it's so easy to be homeless here. And people come from all over the place to be homeless there because they've made it so easy. And so it's like the majority of the homeless people in our town are drug users. And so it's like, you try to help them, but they just want money. They don't want, even with food, it's like, I tried bringing food down there one day and they were like, we don't want your food. We want the money. And so it's gone from, I want to help. I still want a solution, but to now it's like something needs to be done about it.
How did you become homeless?
So the house that I was living in, it foreclosed on the landlord. And so we got once he had his final day there, an officer told us, well, you guys can just basically stay here till the bank tells you to leave. So I stayed for about 6 months and I saved up. And then they said, hey, if you can be out, once the bank finally took it over, they said, if you can be out in 30 days, we'll give you cash for keys. You can have $3,000, which I did. But I didn't have a place to go. So that's what was the beginning of the 6 months of being homeless.
All right. But you think this is a different breed of cat that's out there now? These people are coming in and bragging that this is the best place to be homeless.
Yeah.
Because free services are available, clean needles, and drugs were decriminalized, which had to be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard of in my life. And they've decided that now, right?
Yeah, I think they're coming back.
They're reversing that brilliant decision to say, all skate, free for all, do whatever drugs you want.
Yeah.
That was not a smart decision. That didn't work.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Right.
Okay, next, a resident of Grants Pass who says he has taken matters into his own hands to keep his beloved neighborhood safe. Why? Because he says the local government just isn't doing enough. They're just not fighting the surge of homelessness. So we're going to add him to the conversation after the break. I used to sleep terribly, but I found Beam's Dream Powder, a science-backed, healthy nighttime blend packed with ingredients shown to improve sleep. Beam is founded in America and run by people who share our values of hard work. Their Dream Powder is made with a powerful blend of all-natural ingredients: reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. Here's the deal. Beam is giving my listeners the ultimate Patriot discount of up to 40% off. Try their best sleeping dream powder and get up to 40% off for a limited time. Go to shopbeam.com/Dr. Phil and use code Dr. Phil at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/Dr. Phil and use code Dr. Phil for up to 40% off. Sleep better, wake up stronger, and show up ready for your family, your work, and your country. Because when you're well rested, you're unstoppable. And this country needs more people like that. I've seen it all, from folks stuck in toxic relationships to people whose houses look like a tornado went through a craft store. But there's one problem I see plaguing America, and it ain't on the couch. It is the couch. Hideline offers customizable leather options so you can pick the color that fits your style. They've got specialized hybrid foam and pocketed coil cushion systems to help you sit comfortably for hours. For a limited time, you can get 10% off store-wide and free shipping with code Dr. Phil 10 at hideline.com. Now, my next guest, Brock, claims the city of Grants Pass has always been about community, with the park across from his home being a safe haven for children and families to go hang out, spend quality time, have picnics, throw the ball around, frisbees, take their dog. But now Brock claims that that park has become a place for homelessness and drug use. He says he's not going to sit idly by and watch that happen again.
There's not too many people in the community visit the parks anymore. I saw what was happening in the parks. It was more than homelessness. There was drug addicts that were smoking meth and fentanyl and leaving messes. Basically took over the parks. This is one park that they split up, put the campers on one side of the park, left the other side open for the community. I used a little hidden cam, and I started just walking through the parks, showing what I saw.
I got tight for this. What happened right now? I guess I'm starting it. Yeah.
We started Park Watch GP on Facebook. We have rallies once a week, and we clean up all the dangerous stuff that you don't want kids playing with. This area down here, it's cleaned up now, but for the past year and a half, it was taken over completely. There's usually 50, 60 kids in the playground, and look at it now, and hardly anybody's here. They're afraid of it. When I come to the park, I carry 2 shots of Narcan wherever I go, rubber glove to pick up nasties. I carry my mission statement, and I carry these cards for a rehab specialist. Unfortunately, this is what I'll pick up in a day. That's what we're fighting against. So under the bridge here, it gets really nasty. That's my son's tent right there. He doesn't have to be here. If you were to just take the steps to get off drugs, we'd take him in a second. I go to bed each night wondering if I'm gonna see him again. And I wake up in the morning wondering if he's still alive. I'll get him clean, but then goes back to his drugs. Those drugs are so addictive.
Well, Brock, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You say you're not against the homeless,
No.
but you believe there needs to be some accountability. Where do you draw that line?
Well, first you need to figure there's 2 different types of homelessness, right? You've got your down and out homeless people, and then you've got the people that are homeless because they're drug addicts or have mental health problems. And until we separate those 2, we're not going to fix the problem.
And you say there's a different approach to the 2.
I would think so. I'm not an expert. I'm a tile setter. But I know living with drug addicts, my son's a drug addict. You could find my son a house tomorrow, but that doesn't mean he'll be able to take care of it, right? Even if you paid his rent, he would rent the rooms out to other people to make money to buy drugs.
So your son is actually in that park?
He's in the park right now, yeah.
Living in a tent?
Yes. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And you don't have a strategy for getting him out of that park, or he'd be out of the park?
Well,
right?
we've taken him in the house 4 times in the last 10 years, and the same thing happens. Until he gets clean, you can't live with a drug addict.
Right.
It's just too hard. There's too many other problems. And I don't know what to do. I've gotten him clean before. Usually when he gets out of jail for a significant time, he'll be clean. But then, I can see the gears rolling, and he gets depressed, and he doesn't know how to be clean. He needs massive mental health before you start trying to get him off drugs. You can't just get somebody off drugs. They need to learn how to be off drugs.
Well, I understand that the addicted homeless in the park call you a park narc.
Yeah.
And a park rat.
Yeah, some do.
Why?
Because I'm exposing what's happening in the parks. At first, people didn't believe it. They thought, I was exaggerating and it's not that bad. And so I started going in and recording it and posting it to our local Facebook groups to prove what was happening.
Mm-hmm. You wear a hidden camera.
I wear a little can that goes above my left ear.
And you just walk around?
Just random times. I walk in and I walk out. And I record what I see. I post what I see.
And you're holding weekly meetings and showing some of this and talking to people because you're trying to get the city to act.
Yes.
What do you guys want them to do? What's the answer?
Well, first of all, clean up the parks. right?
Define clean up.
Going through the bushes and the gutters and pulling up all those needles and tutors and the foil that we see on the ground.
So physically, you want to get the drug paraphernalia out of there so children don't walk up and grab it and stab themselves.
Yes.
Animals too.
Yeah, animals. Somebody lost their
dogs and children.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, dog OD'd in the park.
All right. So you want them to clean up physically.
Help keep us safe.
Okay. So once that's done, it's just going to fill back up. So you're going to have somebody go through there and clean that up on a regular basis,
Yeah,
right?
that's what we're doing.
Okay.
And it gets better and better every time we do it. We do it once a week at the sports park.
Okay.
And so we're cleaning it up a bit. We're making a difference.
Okay. All right. And then besides that, what do you think needs to be done?
Again, mental health and rehab facilities. There's hardly anything available. There's tons of outreach to help people, to feed them, to clothe them. They give them tents, but they're not out there pushing the rehab. And they don't want the rehab, if you ask most of these people. They're not interested, and that's the mental health part.
Well, we were looking at a plot of land to put, so Medford, it's like 23 minutes away. It's the next town over. And they've got...
Rogue Retreat.
Yeah. And so like you can go there and have your tent and it's like covered by like a metal awning. And then you've got like these little mini dorms or whatever that they can graduate to those. And then they help them get jobs. And I think that they're dealing with their homeless and we just keep getting more by the day. What I would like to see is the same thing, like a plot of land where the urban campers, because it's obvious that we need more housing as well. We don't have enough like low-income housing. We don't have that much housing. There is some, but I do think that needs to be addressed. And, you can only do one thing at a time, but starting with a piece of land that we can put them in to where they're not in our parks anymore, they're on this specific property. And if they're found camping and living outside of that area, that there's going to be maybe like a warning, a fine, and then either jail or, I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but not doing anything is
Well, it doesn't sound like you have any of the answers. You're just pushing them down the road. And I'm not saying anybody does. I'm just saying, but you pushing them down the road, eventually, will they just fall off the earth?
Well, they go where it's easiest. So Medford has been able to clear out their parks by opening up Rogue Retreat and several other places for people to go.
That doesn't solve the problem.
It doesn't solve the problem, but what happens, they have structure there, and they try to teach people how to go to bed at night at a certain time, get up at a certain time. They don't say you can't use drugs. It's low barrier, but you can't use drugs on site. So there's structure, there's accountability. A lot of people don't want that, so they came to Grants Pass where it's easier. So the injunction states that if a city doesn't have enough space to house people, they can stay in the parks. So we don't have that yet. So we're being forced into finding a place that we can open up a low barrier campsite. But that doesn't mean they're going to go there. Right? We can't make them go there. They can stay downtown if they want.
All right. Well, we're going to keep talking about this. Next, a man currently experiencing homelessness who says criminalizing the things needed to survive on the street is not the answer. We're going to add him to the conversation after the break. This message is sponsored by Greenlight. Remember summertime as a kid? The freedom, the boredom, the first taste of independence? Like setting up a lemonade stand or earning your first dollar. Summer's the perfect time to teach kids real-world money skills that they'll use for life. Greenlight is a debit card and money app for families. Parents can send money, manage chores, and track spending. Kids learn to save, invest, and spend wisely, all in a fun, game-like experience. My producer, LaFern, and her son, David, use it and love it. I wish I had Greenlight when my kids got their first allowance. It would have made life so much easier. Greenlight is the easy way to raise financially smart kids. Don't wait to teach your kids real-world money skills. Start your risk-free trial today at greenlight.com/Phil. That's greenlight.com/Phil. greenlight.com/Phil. Our next guest, Dion, has thankfully found safe refuge in a shelter for the homeless after living months trying to survive on the streets.
I was homeless for 7 or 8 months. Back here, no one really bothered me. I was able to put a cover on top and lay on all the 2x4s and make a hung here. And then I put the carts against so that nobody would bother me. Back there, took enough fentanyl that should have ended my life. So much has changed since then. I didn't want to continue to live. Now I do. I am living way better. So over here is a place that saved my life. It's a 9-month faith-based rehabilitation program. We do all of our classes, our AA classes, our biblical classes, our counseling therapy sessions. I graduate in about 2 weeks. And there's nothing better. Arresting homeless people is definitely not gonna help them. There's no benefit to jail at any time, because it's not a place that actually corrects their behavior. It's punishing somebody, and then you're back on the streets, you're back in your addiction, and it's an endless cycle. You're not giving anybody a good chance to live their life. You're just thinking that you're rounding up a bunch of disgusting degenerates in this world and putting them all in a place that you feel that you can control them. In today's society, 100% believe that we are dirty, gross, mistreating the system, and they couldn't be far from the truth.
Well, Dion, I'm glad you're here, and you're making some real progress, right?
Absolutely.
You've been homeless for 2 years. You stayed with a friend. You slept on the streets for 7 or 8 months, benches, anywhere you could find a shelter at times. You say it got to the point where you didn't really care whether you lived or died. Why?
So kind of what he was talking about, I struggled with mental illness and addiction altogether. And I've been struggling with that for 10 years, and I never found an out. I never found hope. I never found a way to really cope with it or to deal with my addiction. And I had a job, I had a house, I had everything, and I lost it all because of my addiction and the things going on in my head. And it got to the point where I got scared and so alone, and I couldn't hold conversations with people long enough to be able for them to actually get to know me. And I did enough fentanyl that should have ended my life.
Mm-hmm. What kind of work were you doing?
So I was a mechanic for 6 years. Before that, I served in the Army. And for the 6 to 7 years that I was a mechanic, I managed shops. I had people that worked for me. I almost was on the path to buying my own shop. Mm-hmm. And I had a nice condo out here in Prosper.
And what happened to derail you?
So I was drinking pretty significantly after I came back from Afghanistan, to just kind of cope with everything that had happened out there. And I had found no way to really deal with it. But I was a functioning alcoholic, if you want to say. And when I was 25, about 6 years after I got out from the military, when I was 25, I got into a really bad motorcycle accident. And the doctor prescribed me painkillers. And that was it. That was the cure to all the pain, everything that I felt inside. I felt like I was God. I can control my life until I couldn't anymore.
So they gave you pain meds, opioids?
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Big bottle?
Big bottle. They did it for about 2 years until they abruptly stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no, hey, man, let's try to wean you off of it. It was like, all right, we're going to be done with the prescription.
Yeah. Where's the VA in all this?
And I stopped going. They were no longer helping me.
They weren't offering you any help?
Yes, sir.
Were they offering you therapy?
They did initially for the 6 weeks of decompression phase whenever I came back. But after that, I put on a mask to say that I'm fine, I'm stronger than this. And I tried to beat it myself, and it didn't work. But I work with a therapist now who specializes in trauma and PTSD and night terrors, and she's done an amazing work that no other VA therapist that I've experienced in my own experience has been able to get me to overcome.
Mm-hmm. That's great. You're going to continue pursuing that, right?
Yes, sir.
You're going to be in sober living soon, right?
Yes, sir. So the facility that I'm at now, they're a 9-month rehabilitation facility. They didn't just give me a bed to lay on or a place to go because I've tried sober living facilities before. I've tried, like, here's a bed and here you go, you're off the streets. Congratulations. They immediately day one poured so much love into you and make you feel like you're worth it and show you that there's hope. And then the sober living that they provide afterwards is after the treatment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is after you realize that there is hope, and it's up to addicts like me and to everybody else to inform people that there is hope to get off the drug.
And you don't think they should criminalize homelessness?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. But do you think that when homeless commit crimes, they should be held accountable for those crimes?
I mean, a crime is a crime. I've been to jail. I've committed crimes, and I fully take ownership of everything that I've done.
Because there's two different things. Criminalizing someone for not having somewhere to go is one thing. Criminalizing criminal behavior, holding people accountable for committing crimes, is a different thing.
There's a way different thing.
I mean, holding somebody accountable because there's not a bed for them to go to, and so they're left on the street with no option, criminalizing that behavior and starting to rack up fines, and so the system is pushing them into a hole they can't get out of, is a self-fulfilling prophecy that leads to nowhere good. But because they don't have a place to stay doesn't mean the laws no longer apply to them, and so now they can assault Missy, they can do this or do that, and they get a pass because they don't have a bed. That's a different story.
That is.
You agree with that?
I definitely agree with that. I mean, there's evil people in this world.
Well, evil or otherwise, you break the law, you break the law.
You break the law, you break the law. It's not just homeless people that are creating these crimes either.
Of course.
You're putting a status on us thinking that we are all criminals when we're not.
No, but if you commit a crime, you're a criminal.
Yep.
That doesn't mean just because you're homeless, you get a pass, but it doesn't mean just because you're homeless, you're a criminal.
Right.
I'm just saying that there shouldn't be a separate set of rules for somebody that doesn't have a place to stay.
Right.
That doesn't mean resources shouldn't be made available. Every effort shouldn't be made to try to get someone like you back on your feet. And you're a perfect example of, if those resources are spent, you can start contributing to society instead of bleeding it dry.
Right.
And you're a perfect example of that. And congratulations for it. And thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you.